So now that you know what kind of systems of equations we're going to get in this unit, either linear, quadratic, or whatever, what we have to figure out is how we're going to actually solve these things. That's the big thing. Well, there's three methods of doing that. You can do it graphically, you can do it algebraically, or you can use your calculator and technology. So if you're a purist and you love looking at the graphic things here, remember we have two different kinds of systems. We have a linear system or a quadratic system. It's one of the two. Well, you got to know how to do both of them. This linear stuff, that's Math 10C. You got two different ways of doing this. Of course, slope-intercept form, where you graph it, you got an intercept, you got a rise, you got a run, there you go. And then you've got another graph that let's say you got this, and you've got a rise, and you got a run, and go like this, and oh my goodness, that's your intersect, of course. Or you can use the intercept method, and this is what we did in the last unit, where we let y equals to 0 to give us our x-intercept, x equals to 0 to give us our y-intercept, and we basically graph something that looks like that versus something, let's say, that looks like this, okay? And then go, oh, okay, there's my intersect right there. That's the intercept method. Quadratic method, of course, we know if it's given in this form, away we go. Put the vertexes down. Find out where they actually end up. Or if you've got the general form, yes, you know that that's the intercept. But then we could GCF, we could PSA1, PSA2, difference of squares, quadratic formula. We could even complete the square and figure out how to graph this nicely. Boy, that seems like an awful lot of work. Well, in fact, yes, it is. Wait till you see the next podcast. That's a lot of work. Okay, or we can go over and do the old algebra thing. Substitute these guys in or do an elimination method. That's going to be an upcoming podcast. We'll take a look at that. And that ends up giving us some really, really nice numbers. But of course, don't forget that we should actually verify, because we never know when we use algebra whether or not algebra is telling us the whole truth. And then finally, the one I think is probably the easiest one in the world, just plunk it into your calculator, and if you remember, that's that second calc or second trace button, and we just go out and we find the individual intersects. Okay? Now, that may seem simple, but unfortunately, you have to gonna play with the window settings on that. You might have to just go and say, okay, I've got to manipulate it so it's y equal to, and so on. So each one of these has its advantages and disadvantages. That's what we're going to figure out in the upcoming podcasts.